Hi there everybody, Flash Trasman back again with another episode of Suzerain, and we're at Revelations. I think we're getting to the business end of this game. I really do. I think we're getting towards the end of the game. Going for what happened the last time. Right. Oh yeah, this one. Right. These are my thoughts. I'm not picking here because, well, on the plus side, on the plus side, a woman would make a big statement in the country. However, she's old guard. As if we pick her, we're lining with the old guard. He's the obvious choice because he's been loyal to us as great advice. However, I'm not going to pick Lucian because we've got him already. We've got him as a strategist. So it seems a bit daft for me just to move him into. We've got him already. So why move him to another? Why move him? This is the obvious one because new face. We bring in the reformist side of the party into the government. So we keep Lucian and we get a new face in there and pull in the reformist. So I'm going to go with this guy. Albin Claven is now part of the government. Let's hope I don't regret that. The Assembly. Albin Claven is now the Vice President, leader of the progressive faction of the party. Hopefully that doesn't spell the end for me. Right. Start of the day at the palace. Lisa and I were on our way to office. I was holding a mug of coffee in one hand and a folder of various documents in the other. As we turned the corner, Lisa spoke. The Ashraf anniversary is coming up soon. The most important day for the bloodish populace. Watani Ashraf is one of their symbols, as you know. Your presence at the event would show your desire for a more unified Sordland. We will reap the benefits if you decide to go, I'm sure. I don't want to cause a further division amongst us because of this. Why should I attend? Yeah, why should I attend? If we send a clear message to the bloodish, your president is with you. This will alleviate tensions. We're on another corner to reach the last corridor leading to my office. Lucia suddenly stopped in front of one of the doors. A plaque that once said Vice President Peter Vector had been removed. The door so far I could see a few workers moving boxes around the room. One of them saw as he bowed and changed the name tag on the door to Vice President Albin Claven. I heard Albin's voice from inside. You can leave it here, there, thank you. Notice has immediately made his way to us. Mr. President Lucian. Ooh, that is Mr. Gallagher to you, Mr. Vice President. Ooh, there's a bit of a Very well, Mr. Gallard. How is it going? Are you settled in yet? I want you ready to work as soon as possible. As you Vice President, that reminds me, Mr. Gallard, please deliver this to my secretary. This needs to be in the hands of the Justice Committee as soon as possible. Yeah, I'd not thought about the issues it's going to cause between Lucian and whoever and Albin. I'd not thought of that. Lucian's upper lip curled. He and Albin stared at each other down for a moment. I'm not your servant, Mr. Claven. True, but I am your superior, Lucian. We work with requests here, Mr. Claven, not orders. I request a guard. Could you please deliver this to my secretary, please? Oh, fine, I'll take it. I see that, Mr. President. Yeah, I'd not thought of that. As for the Ashraf matter, I will present you with our options later. He walked out, leaving me alone with Albin. Well then, I must go back to tidying up this room. Thank you for visiting, Mr. President. I will stop by as soon as this is done. I want you to try and get along with Lucian. I'll do my best. Albin bowed and went into his room. I entered my office and asked Sylvia for a second cup of coffee to wake me up. Another long day was waiting for me. Yeah, that didn't go down well, did it? Okay, let's have a quick look up here. Let's look up over here. No. News article. Radical. It's official. Albin Claven as new Vice President of Sordland. Looking at this pic objectively, I catch myself thinking that honestly it could have been much worse. Much worse. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Let's see what this is all about. This one. Yep. Okay. I arrived in the city of Sordland with my Vice President Albin after receiving an emergency request from ISAF and Lilius. I'd seen the reports of a recent issue that arose between the Sordland police and the gendarmerie units of the city. The report said an operation against a drug trafficking vessel fell due to miscommunication. It was not hard to guess what this meeting was going to be about. We entered the city hall and made our way to the second floor. I could hear ISAF and Lilius's voices echoing through the hallway. I opened the door. The meeting of the two ministers did not even realise. This is not acceptable. How dare the police meddle with the affairs of a gendarmerie? It was your men who started this ridiculousness and meddled with ongoing police investigation. The voices were getting louder and louder. Real security is my jurisdiction, and your men were way outside of their sword. We are here to help with the matter. What is going on? Mr. President, Mr. Vice President. Apologies, Miss Graff, but Miss Graff fails to understand her place. No, Miss Lancia, you are the one who does not understand his place. If you continue to do so, you will pay for it one day. Ooh, that's a threat enough. Slam the table. That's enough. Calm down, both of you. That's enough. Calm down, both of you. I'm trying really hard to stay calm, Mr. President. Miss Graff, you are pushing your boundaries. Let's hear Mr. Potato Head first. Lieutenant General of the John One was tracking a drug trafficking ring in the countryside outside of Esord. We immediately acted on it. Just when we were about to raid their hideout with live weapons, police units arrived at the scene and alerted the criminals. As a result, the criminals got away. Isn't there a line of communication between you? There is, but the Ministry of Defence started to avoid notifying the police department about the planned raid. The same could be said about you, because the reports show that you knew about the gang and their stash in the countryside. I started tapping on the table with my fingers. How do we solve this issue so it will never happen again? I know what that's like, because this happened on the first playthrough, and the bottom line is, it's a power battle between this pair and a power grab by air with him. We are getting nowhere. We need to find a middle ground. I think this was the last drop. Internal security matters should be handed to the Minister of Interior completely. We are called the Minister of Interior for a reason. We can't let any more screws like this happen again. She looked at me. I want the gendarmerie to be transferred to the Minister of the Interior. What? Woman, are you out of your mind? Asif turned red with anger. He composed himself after a moment. To me, what needs to change is not the structure itself, but the problems in it. Well said. We need to find out what is causing this and fix it. I believe I just told you the fix to the problem, Mr. Clavin. Please address me as Mr. Vice President, Miss Scruff. We'll get stuck into her. I said, don't think the end justifies the means in this case. This is not an individual case. It's been happening for a long time. In case you did not know, Mr. Clavin. Ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I won't hand over the gendarmerie to her out of the question. I do tend to agree with them. Do you have a better solution? Yeah, see what your solution is. Whenever operations overlap, we should engage at a lower rank with local officials on both sides. We could work on establishing that, but it still doesn't change the wrong system that exists now. No matter what, we need to eliminate this grey and modernise our internal security. Now I see what is going on here. The Lias set us up to create this incident. Bit of her lips, you did do, yeah. That has gone a bit far. What proof do you have? There's no way the police has arrived at the right time of a month. I'm going to start that again. There is no way that the police has arrived at the right moment of a month-long search on the exact day and minute of the gendarmerie raid. It's got a point. As an armed law enforcement organisation, maintain security, safe, public order. Yeah, basically said, right, okay. You may be right. I agree with him. That's quite honest with you. It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? There she rocks up, the police rock up, mess up the entire operation, and then she says, "Well, I now want all these gendarmerie forces." You may be right. It's very disappointing that you would even entertain the idea. This kind of accusation is unheard of. It's nonsense. If I were you, I wouldn't believe a word Mr. Lancey says, Mr. President. Heed my word, Mr. President. When dealing with these situations, you need always to look at who gets what out of it. But I agree with it again. Don't stand idly by these utterly ridiculous and baseless accusations. I don't have time for this. What is your decision? There would be no change related to the gendarmerie operations. You are making a mistake. Thank you for protecting the structure and authority of the Ministry of Defence. I want this goes cut me from now and work together. Don't fight amongst each other. I want capable, effective members of Cabinet. There are bigger issues on hand that need attention. Focus on them instead of each other. And work together and don't fight. Which one do we go for? Which one do you reckon? I'm thinking. Let's go with that one. We'll do our best to write Miss Lancia. That's right, Miss Graff. I left the room to attend my next scheduled meeting. Okay. Country update overview. Anti-corruption police investigate state officials. The Rayne administration is going forward its unnecessary probing to top-ranked officials, despite Neil Morgan's anti-corruption police so far uncovering little, if any, evidence of wrongdoing among the old guard. We at the post continue to maintain this is an improper use of. Ooh, they're not happy. It says all sword post. Can we search for home? Can we search for organisations, locations, history, factions, political organisations, corporations? Can we see history, characters, locations? We can't. I think we could see what their background is. Right now, have we got anything to look at? Oh yeah, okay. Let's go with this one first. The companies continue to investigate the old guard. A few leads have been uncovered, revealing several low-level cases of corruption as well high-ranking part officials, possible ties to Bernard Circus assassination. These will duly be followed upon. Right, health. I had a meeting scheduled with Pascal to review our annual healthcare report. I arrived at my office with stacks of papers under my arms. Mr. President. He put the mantle of papers on my desk and it made a loud thud sound. I know this seems like a lot. Reviewing it shouldn't take more than a day. He measured the pile again, or maybe two. Maybe. Well, that sounds just great. They contain very important information about the state of our healthcare, salaries, spending, hospital reports, whatever you like. We can go through this together. Please no. Can't you just summarise? Of course. I breathed a sigh of relief as he put on his reading glasses and looked at the document he was holding. So we have concluded our report for the year. Thanks to the allocated funds, we have improved the healthcare in the country. Overall, I used the resources to begin comprehensive health reform. We have more patients treated, less waiting times, and higher treatment quality than years before. Yep. This wasn't possible without your wise decision, Mr. President, so thank you. We are currently on the right path to challenge even less people or Vagsland in that matter, but we are not there yet. Have we give it a few more, we might even surpass them. We need to get to. We simply can't follow the thoughts of the nations. Yeah, we need to get the level of superpowers. We'll take an effort. If we can stay from the term, I'm sure we will. Moving on. Skim the rest of the document before putting it down. The investments that we poured into our rural health facilities have paid off greatly. The quality of care due to an upgraded equipment, we're able to hire more healthcare staff. Disparity in services needs more effort to be completely solved. However, the additional funds for the rural areas are a great start. All these efforts have resulted in a clear increase of quality in health services provided to our citizens. Cleared his throat. Now I've given you the short summary. There's a very important matter to discuss. Leaning over to grab his suitcase, he pulled out a tan-coloured package. The package was stamped with big red letters that read confidential. Pascal opened the package and brought a few documents. He handed them over to me. Take a look. It was a report from the Ministry of Health. Each page had a stamp on it for the eyes of the President only. polio outbreak in Berg yet. How bad is it? For now it seems to be under control. We have a few villages under quarantine. The total number affected is 1,467. Death toll so far is 23. If we have any more outbreaks, the results will be terrible. Thankfully, we've received additional funding to our healthcare. This should curb the infection ratio, although I'm afraid even that might not be enough. This is a very serious matter. The lives of the Sordland citizens are at stake. That's very topical, isn't it, with what's going on in the world at the moment? What can we do about it? We've done our research. There is a cure vaccination recently invented in the United Kingdom by a doctor with a form that has been available for free in the entire world. No matter what people think about United Kingdom, if the same thing happened in Arcadia, we would be paying the price for it. Thanks to a very good decision made by you to increase the funding of healthcare, we have capacity to produce this vaccine locally. But I'm afraid simply the vaccine won't help. We need to make sure they are administered. We need to implement a nationwide mandatory polio vaccination policy. With the order, I can immediately get to it to ensure we are doing whatever it takes. It's not excessive, however, it's absolutely necessary. Okay, excellent. Excuse me, I must get to work immediately. From my seat. Thank you for your time. He's left my office. I thought that would hit my budget, but clearly it doesn't, so I'm not bothered about that. I was expecting that to up my put us in deficit even more. Okay. The Lothberg Group has finished constructing a private prison complex in a rural area just outside Vessel, comprising maximum and the minimum security facilities. The new complex is about the same size as Untitled Chapter, but promises to have twice as many prisoners thanks to smaller cells and stacked bunk beds. Marvellous. Yeah, that's gonna reform the criminals of the country, isn't it? Dear me. We need the money though. We need the money. The budget left to the Minister of Health, we can several different programs in order to improve healthcare system. Further funds can be used to create medical scholarships, build state-of-the-art school, give eye free tests. Here we go. Start medical scholarship, build state-of-the-art medical school, free eye tests, free dental care. Don't spend. Let's not spend. Let's get the budget down a bit. There we go. Probably not. I should have done something wise with that, but that's not looking great. So we need to get it down. So let's go over here. Fair Trade Commission established. Fair Trade Commission has opened in Hull today and began coordinating the Central Bank, the National Business Council and the Ministry of Economy to get an analysis of the competition issues and potential regulation legislation. The effort to bring fairness to trade and commerce is sort of led by okay, fine. Sued a visionary small business owner who sued Heart of Sordland in an unfair competition bid and won in court. Marvellous. Let's scoot over here. That's what you're about. Let's quick look on the other countries. Nothing to see over there. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Oh, okay. Citizens in Assord have received their first completely free prescription medicine. Some cancer diabetes patients have expressed how much the measure relieves their finances. A poor family gave an interview thanking the President for allowing their parents to live. It was reported that the measure has been successful around the country as well. Fantastic. I can't remember doing that, but marvellous. Alright, what's going on down in oh, here we go. Alright, okay. I'm just going to get another drink before we do this. Okay, give me a second, I'm just getting a drink. So excuse me. Right. Let's crack on with this one. The Remembrance Rally of Ashraf anniversary is about to begin. This one, the bloodish movement is holding larger for a year. Display the demands and strength. Attend with an armed convoy. We're not going to have an armed convoy, we'll just go like that. Okay, right. Solidarity for Watani Ashraf's anniversary. After making a stop in Dai to meet the governor of Bergia, Felix Braun, we have finally arrived at the ancient walled city of Suzerain. from more than 2 decades ago, the city gained particular importance for the bloodshed people due to the Isam incident, which was reason for our visit with the anniversary of the Isam incident and the death of Watani Ashraf. Basically, to sum it, Sol wanted to build a dam to solve energy problems, and it meant that a blooded village of Azam would have to be evacuated, raised to the ground to make way for the dam. And basically, they refused to go, and then on the 10th day, after Sol sent to the military, a village elder called Watani Ashraf was shot. According to the Radical, they reckon the entire group was killed, and the soldiers were ordered by Tarka and Sol to move them so they could build. And it's a very controversial incident in the Bloodish population, and this is an anniversary of said incident. The event took place in aptly named Isam Square, just several blocks away from the site of the tragic Isam incident, which currently lay under Lake Sol together with the ruins of the old sunken city. We drove the President Cadillac as we entered the city's old paved streets in between the rundown buildings. A convoy could barely fit in our streets, disrupting local traffic and creating a noisy chaos in the Norman tranquil city. Everybody's looking at us. I must say, this is a good decision, sir. This may help ease tensions. That was my intention all along. As expected, we're almost there. I can hear the crowd. I heard the chants and shouts from outside. Lucian leaning closer to the window, listening to their voices. They are telling us to go back to where we came from. As we approached, large crowds assembled in the square. There were probably at least 10,000 people, and most of them were yelling profanities and obscenities at me. Fair enough. As our convoy slowed down, a young bluish man ran in front of the vehicle and spat on the window as I was looking out from. Did not say anything. The vehicle came to a stop. My driver exited the vehicle and opened the door for me. We were greeted by Mansoon Lek, who wore a coat over his suit which was marked with red and turquoise stripes of the Bullish Movement's flag. He moved forward to greet us. Welcome to Suzerain, Mr. President. It looks like I'm not welcoming Mr. Lek. No need for passengers. I want this done as quick as possible. Raise his hand and display unity. Shake his hand. Mr. Lek, Mr. Gallard, welcome. We shall move into the sanctuary then. Let's go. We started making our way to Suzerain Sanctuary, which stood at the end of the square. As a much smaller replica of the arch sanctuary died, this building emanated a mystical aura due to its age and its blackened walls. We entered the building through ornamented large metal gates. As we walked, the noise of the crowd started to fade out. Everyone started to get quiet for the ceremony. Thousands of candles were burning inside the sanctuary, one for each person died at Isam, and a red candle for Watani Ashraf himself. Gestured towards candles. Pick up the red candle. He picked up a candle and started walking out. Others followed suit, including us. The atmosphere outside had completely changed. The crowd was now completely silent. We slowly walked to Assad's grave. On the way, hundreds of people joined us. Seeing the red candle in my hand, some people started shouting at me, breaking the silence. One man who managed to break the silence. The security cordon started running to me and screamed, "Don't defy us, spirit, you racist dog. Take your hands off that candle." Before he could get to me, one of my prison guards grabbed him and dragged him away. Masoon looked at me with a mix of fear and anger in his eyes, but he knew better not to speak. Maybe it was a mistake picking up the red candle. He pointed at a huge standing torch above the grave. Light the torch together with Monsoon. I turned and realised a sheer amount of people were following us, looking at me, waiting for me to hear what I would say. 3 people of Bloodia. We're here to mourn. The maids will lost their lives. Yep. I'm not standing before you as a president, but I'm standing here as one of you. These are brave men who want to protect their land. These were brave men who only want to protect their land. Despite the efforts to divide our people, stand as one. We are sword, we are blood, we are united under one flag. I show you your hatred and anger. I feel it too, I assure you. Like I know it takes a long time for it to cool down, but I look at those lost lads and think, what would they want? An old man yells for revenge. Ooh. To what end? We need to break this vicious cycle. To what end? To break this vicious cycle of violence and revenge for a better future. Let me tell you one thing, I dream of a Sordland. You're not truly united on a country where it being a blood or sword doesn't matter. Yeah, I'll go with that one. For response and shame for the actions of my predecessors, most of all I feel the desperation to remove the black mark from our history. Let us be a testament to our unity in future generations. Made in the past, innocent people have paid price. We cannot let the past divide us. I need help from each and every one of you to make this country a better place for everyone. The responsibility falls on all our shoulders because we don't have anyone else but each other. Morning will come. Though we echo only silence, most of them live close to me. Mr. President, that was a good speech. Thank you. Extended his hand and offered me a handshake. Hug him. So here I threw my arms, hugged him. Suddenly the crowd started clapping. Thank you for this, Mr. President. I didn't think people as Israel will ever forget this. You became the first and only president who were brave enough to come to Israel and pay respects to the Israel victims. I hope this will start a new era. Thank you. Listen, rushed near me, so it's time to go. We start to make our way back to the convoy. Well, on so this will be useful in the upcoming elections. What's the rush? The whole trip runs as scheduled, so the convoy needs to start driving now, or else we won't be back in time. We entered vehicles and made our way back home from Suzerain. Yeah, what is the rush? What else have we got planned? Doom radical. Okay, that's it. But wow, that's another almost nice article by the radical on us. Right, let's go to here. Briefing on the current political situation. Right, walked into the white room with a cup of coffee in my hand. My Vice President scheduled a meeting on the current political situation. I opened the door and entered the room, and Alban immediately stood up. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning. This shouldn't take long. I just want to go over our current political climate. Mr. Holt told me he's just finished with his new plan for the economy. He said he wanted to solidify the plan before presenting it to you. He'll schedule a meeting soon to go over our options. In terms of a quick administration, depends on it. I expect good ideas and comes. He's never filmed it before. This better be good for his own good. Yep, of course, we rely on him. I will lay this to him as soon as possible. Next time, talk about our election prospects. There's a sharp, soft knock on the door. I hope it's all right with you, but I invited Mr. Garland to this portion of the meeting. Of course. Alban went to get to the door. Lisa walked in. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President. If Lisa still resented my choice of Vice President, he didn't show disdain. Was nothing but cordial and professional. The others sat down, and Alban handed out a new set of documents. Mr. Claven, I will let you take the lead on this. Thank you, Mr. Gallard. Ooh. I've just received the results of the voter poll commissioned by Peter Vector shortly before his departure. To put it in plain language, it's not great. Bad even. The USB stands to 20% of the vote compared to last time around. Do we still have a chance? We have a year to gain more votes, but we've got to think strategically, which presumably is why you've retained the service of your chief strategist. Go on. Shuffle this page around. Looking at the demographics of the voter polled, you've fallen out of favour of the Conservatives. Less than half of them are likely to vote for you, which is, the Liberal base appears divided, but you do have a considerable number of supporters there. For better or worse, quite a few nationalists appear on track to vote for you. If you ever had any support from the Socialists, you've completely lost it now. And surprisingly, none of the British polls respondents said they'd be planning on voting for you. Lastly, we can't expect votes from the centrists and unaffiliated voters unless we do something to win them over. So what do you suggest? Look, I spent half my career trying to discern the needs of the Liberal voters. I can advise you in that direction if you want. Go ahead. I will say the Liberal base is very concerned about equality. If we want their vote, you need rock solid policies on women's rights and human rights in general. Liberals love free markets, so if you're anything less than a full-bore capitalist, you're going to have to whip Sordland's economy to the best shape it's ever been. Sordland's lack of a free press has certainly not helped your chance with the Liberals. If you want to clinch a Liberal vote, well, you could always look for an excuse to leave the USP. That's bound to have other consequences. Oh. Yes, that would be extremely unwise. I keep that on my goals. I've just about had it. Yeah. Anyway, that's my advice for what it's worth. Lucian, what are your thoughts? About smaller about this slightly. Thank you, Mr. President. This may sound like common sense, but a convincing enough campaign can succeed where politics fail. Even if you've opted not to focus on your campaign at the moment, I still advise you have to seize every chance for the exposure that you can. This man of substance image means nothing to me. I'd rather be signing bills than kissing babies. I'll take this into account. Good. One more thing. There is a not insignificant portion of undecided voters who don't care who occupies the ruling policy as long as the economy is running smoothly. This whole new plan could be the key to winning them over. Good to know. Another acknowledgement. Great, I've heard enough, Albin. Was that all for today? Yes, I think on my end. Perfect theories make a good team, don't we? Neither Albin or Lucian responded. I left him to attend my next meeting. Well, that didn't go down. That was, I don't know. Okay, so let's have what now? Well, let's look at the paper first. Whole sword government imposed vaccine policy. Okay. Polio. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, fair enough. Anything to read anywhere else before we dive into a conversation down here? Submit the Hartnett report that is controlled inside Bergia. Cool, that's going well. Again, very topical. Right. Mr. Holland Magnet have prepared a massive industrial expansion plan that could support several key industries in the country through state investment. Sordland could become more competitive hub for industry initiatives. What do we do? Do we expand automotive, electronics, or let's do that one. Ooh, dear me, that tanked the economy somewhat, didn't it? It's getting support to push it small from out of the small scale tractor production path to where the country might first domestically produce car. Okay, right, let's hit go. -7, that's a shocker. Checkmate. I'd love to hear what experience other people have had, because a few events of these have been quite similar to what happened previously on my previous one. Geopolitics. Hegel will take all necessary steps. Claimed intensive fighting was taking place between Angolian forces and locals in Hedgeland, resulting in a massacre of ethnic Valgs living on the island. Ooh. I don't know where that's going. Okay, right. The Assembly has some of the following laws. It criminalises domestic violence of women. Yeah, we're going to sign that. Okay. Oh my god. And they can't. Yeah. Okay. That's getting a little bit scary. Just a little bit scary, that is. Okay. End of the day. It was very nice to drop me off at home after yet another grueling day of work. A guard held my ball over my head as I walked out the car, and the front door into my house was completely dark. I flicked the light on, trying to note from Monica. Her car had called her in for a last minute women's rights meeting. She dropped Diana off at a friend's and left me some food for reheating. I took the pot out of the fridge. It was filled with an unidentifiable greyish looking stew. Evidently Monica's excellent cooking had been the first casualty of her political career. Order of Pete's, reheat the stew. While I was heating up, I went to the room to fix myself a drink. Suddenly the phone rang. I went back to the kitchen and answered it. Frank's voice was on the other end. I thought Mum would pick up. Your mother's works harder than I do these days. Oh right, Diana's going to have to fit if she gets reverse skills handicraft classes. There's a long silence. Oh, I got that record you sent me. Not bad for old folks music. Glad you like it. How's Uncle Peter doing? I haven't heard from him since the press conference. He and Evelyn are divorcing. Oh, bummer. That's not exactly a surprise though. How's school going? Fine, better than fine. I've actually started seeing someone. Ooh. What's she like? Actually, Dad, she's British. So I've got. This Bob hasn't told her. She knows kids just aren't accenting their parents unless you should try learning sometime. She's told me a bit about what her family's gone through. My family's going through back in Burgate. Dad, you have to stop this. Best son, but these militants are making it hard for us. You don't really get it, do you? Maybe I'll bring her over to dinner next week. Maybe once you meet her, you'll understand the harm you're doing. Suddenly I became aware of a smoky smoke of the kitchen. My dinner was burning. I have to go try calling mother tomorrow. Yeah, okay, Dad. No, that didn't go well. Okay. Basically, dinner's burnt. I lied down, feeling like when Monica and Diana would get home. Okay, that didn't go down well. Right, let's have a look. Okay, what's gone on there? So the economy's gone absolutely through the floor again. Came up across Sordland. Okay, former VP steps back from public life. Has not been public in months since his affair with the Rumba Spies made public. Household change of scenery. Okay, he's okay. That's opening, and then we've got soldier deck, credit downgraded. Okay, yep, we're horribly in debt. Okay, yeah, that's that grim looking number. That. Ooh. Oh well. Sound like a culture zone was open to public. Long lines of farms waiting in line to apply for new corporation opportunities. The opening of Spectrum Creek agricultural output is on about 40%. Marvellous. Because existing trade and fairness, first that commission will create new trade regulations to balance import and export differences in local competition can remain strong. Good. New private prisoners, many wealthy inmates have requested to be transferred to those prisons. We're expecting to see substantial amount of revenue generated from those prisons. Excellent. That's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers, that. Oh well. Okay. Yeah, sign it. What the hell? Coming was like. There's a dignity for common decent Sordland. Oh, I didn't want to sign that. I didn't read that properly. Oh, you prat. Oh well. It's my office, however, is very warm and cosy. It's straightened myself next to the sofa. I looked at Monsoon, who was sitting on the couch across from me. He was still visiting all 8 bloodish members of the assembly. Dark, creasing under his eyes from lack of sleep. I said, we've been working on the bill for a long time, Mr. President. I've always done my best to resent my people only to keep getting blocked in the assembly. We can't have the same happen again. I've always brought my people to the assembly and raised my voice whenever our rights are in question. All we want is a proper discussion, but all we get is disrespect. MPs shout racial slurs at us, not allow us to speak. It's not only the National Front, it's the USP. He sighed. I don't even remember a time when Miss Toy allowed me to finish a speech. The Assembly does not take us independence seriously, and you, Mr. President, approve anti-bloodish policies. What I know, want to believe you only did this to appease your base. I'm here to ask you to consider your stance. To again, we can make a difference together. It's true, I have regrets of my actions. How can I help you? Undoing your regrets. You're not only silent about race and country, you enable it. You're targeting your faith. You targeted our faith and banned the language and priests from the sanctuaries. What are these laws if not attempted a cultural genocide? It is time to undo these mistakes. Yeah, go on, let's just... I've proposed to give amnesty to those who were falsely arrested for having ties to the Democratic and Bloody Fin Party. Pass it as a decree. You don't need the Assembly. Defendants form a commission for minority rights. Let's do it. Go on. Let's do it. Okay. It means a lot. Thank you. Look at the door meeting entered, sir. I'm sorry. I thought this meeting was over. As decided, we can call it over. I was leaving. Great, we must get out to the meeting room. So one of our new campaign advisors has some plans for the election. He's waiting for us. Let's go. Okay. Yes. British standard rates. One of the most prediscriminated ratings. Decided rates from B to D. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, that's gonna... Oh well. What could possibly go wrong? Violated 2 minutes left to read after message. Okay. Rumberg has invaded our airspace. Police are overwhelmed in remote cities. Fine. It's not fine, but it'll do. Right, what we got in Luxury Tax Act. Let's have a look. Okay. This actually is incentive on luxury goods and economy. Okay, I'm signing that because quite frankly we need to. Alcohol tax is basically posed on. Yep, fine. That's got it down to more respectable. Probably going to hate me for doing it, mind you, but hold it on. Lid on alcohol consumption. Luxury is now taxable. Lid 2 right it is. Okay. Just steal your heart-earned money from under you. Yeah, this. I'm getting the impression that the whole post dislike him as much as a radical do. Okay. Okay, fine. Right, let's get to this one now. There's a reason you consider to extend that? No, I don't know. Young souls, we're not doing any of them because, quite frankly, we can't afford it. Because emergency court escalating situation. I was woken up in the middle of the night by a call from Ministry of Defence. Due to sensitive information, I had to be briefed urgently in person. I put on my clothes as fast as I could. I rushed downstairs, opened the door. Surgery was waiting for me. Miss Resident, this way to your car, please. We got into the car and made our way to the Ministry of Defence building without a word. Arrived and was directed downstairs. I came to a set of large doors and quickly read a sign above them. War room. Dimly lit room was filled with cutting-edge equipment, latest video screens, long-range radio electronics, devices used for communication, presentation and planning. The centrepiece was a large round table with a coat of arms and yep. Lots of people waiting to speak to us. David, Lucy and Vulcan itself were already in deeper discussion. The sense of advice going to or wouldn't help anyone. Must maintain peace in Silver and Ischemocapia at all costs. What do you expect to sit down and do nothing? They are testing us. We must respond immediately, otherwise they will think we are weak. I agree. This is right to that Rumbergian plane flying over. Status report now. Mr. President, thank you for coming at this late hour. There's a situation. Vulcan, please go ahead and provide your report. Mr. President, approximately 20 minutes ago, Rumberg downed one of our planes with anti-aircraft fire from the ground. The pilot was declared killed in action. The last recorded position of the plane was inside Sordland airspace. General Kruger, I mean no offence, but are we absolutely sure that's the case? Are you sure it happened within our borders? No offence taken. Here are the locations on the map and the reports from our airbase. He pointed to several markers on the map. To answer your question, yes, we are absolutely sure. We can see here on the map that the plane was down approximately 10 kilometres inside our borders. We've calculated the trajectory of the gunfire and they started firing up when our plane was within our border. The plane was down near Halgan. Yeah, we need to be cautious. Yep, I completely agree. It looks like we're trying to lure us into their trap. With enough military power to contest against this violation of international law, we should attack and down one of their planes of retaliation, otherwise we will look weak and it will lead to more casualties. I agree. We cannot look weak. If we appear weak, they will jump on the opportunity. Must order military retaliation immediately. I agree with the General. Mr. President, our army is ready to do whatever it takes to protect Sordland. For example, gentlemen, before it comes to that point, we can prevent further bloodshed by using diplomacy. The roof are silent and I finally spoke up. What are your orders? Start the Swordfish war machine and prepare to invade Rumberg. They will pay for the war crimes. Ooh. An eye for an eye will retaliate with equal force to display our strength. Yep. Yeah. Okay, very well. If there's to be retaliation, we need to be extremely careful and seek the opportunity to blame it on us. We can't further escalate the situation and destabilise the region. We need to prevent war at all costs. I'm saying this as a man who has lived through too many years of war. We're not the ones who have escalated the situation, they were the first. I assure you we wouldn't dare attack us for that. They wouldn't dare attack us for that. They know that we are far superior, are we? This will send a strong message. I will send word throughout the start of a military operation. Our target will be their warplanes at an airbase near the border. I think a peaceful situation would benefit, but of course I don't have military experience inside Mr. Lancier has. I'll begin the task immediately. So excuse me now, I must talk to military command to relay the orders. Saluted, I'll bring the paperwork, return the paperwork for the order and show him where to sign off the operation. Now the paperwork is done, I have an idea, Mr. President. I think we should order a military parade to display our strength. I'm with Miss Lancier on this one. We should work this should work well as a deterrent, and it will come in handy as a tool to de-escalate the situation. That is a good idea. Simple and effective without causing any ruckus. Organise a military parade. Understood. That is all, Mr. President. I will keep you updated on the situation. For now, have a good night's sleep. You will need it. I couldn't sleep all that night. Okay, marvellous. We're marching off to war. Yeah, tell us it. Yep. Okay. Problem is, if we have a war with them, they'll attack them and we'll be overwhelmed. Urgent meeting on potential alliances in the war room. Urgent meeting. I knew the matter must have been serious. He insisted on waiting for Esaf and Lucian, so we did. Lucian entered the room. Esaf was by his side. Mr. President, we came as fast as we could. Mr. President, Mr. Rishi, what's going on? David cleared his throat. Welcome everybody. Due to potential ramifications, I'd like everyone to be present for this meeting. We've received an envoy from Marquesia. They're requesting a state visit. Judging from the current climate, it's not too hard to see what this is about. A2 is trying to extend its influence. After all, they will likely try and convince us to join. In addition, as part of the state visit, Dwight Walker will of course meet with you in person, Mr. President. Yeah, we need to be wary. I agree. At first chance they will pounce on the opportunity to enslave us to their will. Blimey. I bet he will come asking for cooperation under the guise of enforcing their demands to join NATO. This will antagonise half the world against us, and we are going to be at the forefront of the battle. From the perspective of national defence, we are in a better shape than we ever were before. I assure you we don't need any outside help, definitely not from Dwight Walker. We will make do somehow. Let's see what he wants first. I'll decide when I talk to him. We need to be careful. Walker never gives anything for free. There will be some concessions for sure. You are our most experienced foreign policy expert. What's your take on this? What do you think is the right action? Rome is bound to increase diplomatic pressure in the upcoming AN meeting. Back channels are reporting rumours that Queen Beatrice Livingston is meeting military leaders in Thornburg. I'm afraid it might not be possible to stand against Rumberg without strong allies. Soon we will have to take a side in this global rivalry to avert potential conflict with Rumberg. I've recently found out of a planned meeting between the Queen and Chairman Maliniev of United Katana and the ATM President Walker Martin, the necessary evil to stop worse things from happening. We have to actually say we should consider the offer very seriously. What do you listen? What do you think? We heard the experts. You are the one who has to decide, sir. Yeah. They'll accept their offer. I will send a response immediately. Then there's a tiny detail we need to get over with. Then there is a tiny detail we need to get over with it. How should we welcome the delegation, sir? Make it extravagant as you can. We need to impress them. Most welcome is in order. They need to see our might. As you wish, I'll take note. I think that's all for today. Thank you for attending. As we dispersed, a worm hanging on the wall in the room caught my attention. I walked over to it. How often were the lines on the wall map be drawn over the recent decades? What about the future? Okay. Right. I think I'm going to leave that just there. Okay, we've got... Right. That's the next big decision we've got. Do we join? What do we get out of Lumber? What do we do with Arcacia? Personally, I'm for joining them, because if they're talking to them and the Sconces United can tell them, that's going to be a big alliance against us and Agnolia. But I worry if we get dragged into war with them, if we get dragged into war with them, they've got to support, they've got to come with us, and if Agnolia come with us, then Vagsland will jump on top of them, and if we haven't got protection from a bigger partner, we could get buried. But anyway, that is for the next episode. I hope you enjoyed that, and as ever, let me know in the comments if you did. Let me know how you've experienced. I've seen loads of people on YouTube and on Twitter who have been doing playthroughs as dictators. I'd love to try and have a go at that at some point, because I'm not sure how you do that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.